In today's military arena, China's J-20 fighter jet is definitely an eye-catching presence. And with the gradual exposure of the two-seat version of the J-20S, the aircraft has undoubtedly once again become the center of discussion among the media and military enthusiasts. What is the J-20S, and what different highlights does this new product bring to the sky of this fifth-generation aircraft? Today, we will talk about this fascinating closest to the sixth-generation aircraft of the Air Eagle. The biggest highlight of J-20S, two-seaters. First of all, let's face a simple but crucial question. What's so different about J-20S? Literally, isn't it just adding an S? But the S here is not simple. It stands for Superior Enhanced Version, just like the Pro version in our cell phone, with more functions and stronger experience. The biggest highlight of J-20S is its two-seat design. For a traditional fighter jet, a single seat is handsome enough, but the two-seat version offers greater operational flexibility. What can an extra seat do? The answer is simple. The second seat is designed to carry an extra pilot. Only, he or she is exclusively responsible for operating the drone. In other words, this backseat driver will be responsible for communicating between the J-20S and its loyal wingmen, enabling it to direct the group of drones in the air and strike enemy targets ruthlessly. Now, the J-20S is like an air tactical command room, capable of fighting, commanding, and warning, which is not too much to say that it is a multifaceted hand in the air. As a 5.5-generation fighter, J-20S is not only a breakthrough in the traditional air combat mode, but also paves the way for the development of future sixth-generation fighters. Of course, some netizens may not think so. Adding a pilot position and a command system to the J-20 is as bad as turning the J-20S into a 5.5-generation aircraft. To this point, it should be noted that with the rapid development of aviation technology, modern fighter technology has become extremely complex, especially for stealth aircraft. And modern air warfare has entered the stage of informationization and network combat. And air combat is no longer an isolated individual confrontation, but has become a systematic combat process. Pilots not only have to fight alone, but also with other aircraft, ground command centers and satellites, and other platforms for real-time data exchange and cooperative operations. This kind of informationized combat requires pilots to have the ability to process complex data and react according to the battlefield situation. Especially for the fifth-generation aircraft and its subsequent development of new-generation fighters, this flow of information greatly increases the complexity of the battlefield because pilots need to quickly analyze a large amount of battlefield information, including enemy position, target priority, enemy, NR posture, etc., and make decisions in a very short period of time. Pilots must have strong information processing and decision-making capabilities to survive and win in such a highly complex information environment in order to survive and win in the volatile battlefield. The biggest highlight of the J-20S is its two-seat design and system upgrades, because in traditional single-seat stealth fighters, pilots need to take on the massive amount of tactical information and data processing tasks in combat alone. As mentioned earlier, in modern air combat, the amount of information on the battlefield increases rapidly, and the complexity of combat also increases significantly. So through the synergy of dual pilots, the J-20S is able to share a large amount of data processing and command tasks, so that the front-seat pilots can focus on the execution of complex flights and aerial battles, and at the same time, avoid the task saturation problem brought about by the overload of information. The problem of mission saturation is avoided due to information overload. Backseat pilots are actively undertaking the task of commanding the UAV combat platform plus processing battlefield data, and the combination of the two plays a far more effective role on the battlefield than a single-seat pilot stealth aircraft. Now with the development of UAV technology, UAVs are becoming more and more important in the modern battlefield, especially in air strikes and intelligence reconnaissance. The single-seat pilot stealth aircraft is not capable of this ability, which is also known as the information overload brought about by the mission saturation problem. But the J-20S backseat increased pilot and AI and its advanced command linkage system, two pilots in their respective roles, in order to maximize the stealth aircraft combat power. And when it comes to combat power, you can't talk about the stealth performance of the J-20S. In modern war, who can suddenly attack the enemy when he is not aware of it, who has the first chance to win. With its excellent stealth design, J-20S can approach the target almost silently and bring unexpected blows to the enemy. Of course, stealth is useless, but you also need to be able to fight. J-20S is not only an attack weapon, but also a strategic level of electromagnetic warfare master. In the past, electronic warfare often requires a specialized electronic warfare aircraft escort, but the J-20S is fully capable of fighting alone, using its advanced electronic equipment to conduct electromagnetic suppression and seize the information advantage of the battlefield. The U.S. military may be thinking, what a whole lot of bull. It can be said that such a comprehensive J-20S has already exceeded the scope of ordinary fifth-generation aircraft, nearly reaching the 5.5 generation, and is the rare closest to sixth-generation aircraft in the current world. The J-20S is designed to incorporate the ability to command and control drones, enabling the fighter to form a highly coordinated combat system with multiple drones. Therefore, the J-20S is able to give full play to its system combat advantages and realize multi-aircraft joint operations through data sharing and intelligence platforms. J-20S is not only able to carry out the air domination mission, but also able to carry out command and coordination in the complex battlefield environment and coordinate operations, forming a hybrid strike mode of fighter drones. This mode gives the J-20S a huge combat advantage in modern air combat. The advantage of J-20S is especially obvious in the confrontation exercise between Chinese and American warplanes. A J-20S is able to command more than 10 drones to conduct joint operations at the same time, thus greatly improving the perception of the battlefield situation and the ability to respond to it, and the monitoring range covers hundreds of thousands of square kilometers. In contrast, the U.S. military's F-35 and other single-seat fighters, in the face of a J-20S and a number of drones of coordinated strikes, is clearly the losing side. Even Major Campbell, the commander of the U.S. Army's fighter force, had to admit that in terms of two-seat fighters plus drones-linked operations, the U.S. Army could even consider using the design concept of Chinese fighters to improve the U.S. warplanes if necessary. In wartime, a J-20S can completely crush all types of Indian fighters as a squadron unit and massacre them when commanding multiple unmanned wingmen in coordinated operations. All in all, the J-20S actually provides valuable experience and development path for China's future sixth-generation aircraft. The emergence of the J-20S can be seen as China paving the way for the development of the sixth-generation aircraft. The future Generation 6 aircraft will no longer be a single-manned or unmanned combat platform, but an entire combat group consisting of both organic and unmanned fighters. It is foreseeable that China will occupy a more favorable position in the future pattern of air warfare.